Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP Diamond Dallas Page. And you, monkey, you're listening to the Potsy and Tino show. And that's not a bad thing, monkey. That's a good thing. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Potsy and Tino show. Yes, that is Rob Potsy Potcheck. I am the road dog Tino Gray. We want to welcome you back to another edition of our show. We want to say thank you to Adam's House Cats for the wrestling song, which is our theme song. You can catch that on iTunes for 99 cents, 99. And the reason why I get to do the intro and the Big Mouth here is not doing it, because Big Mouth doesn't have a voice. So he's come down with some kind of respiratory thing, really praying that it's not RSVP, because I cannot afford to get sick. So two things are going to happen today. I'll probably carry a lot of the show. And also, we might be able to cut it at an hour and a half like I usually like to. Yeah, you can't talk. You ain't got shit to do with it. So hour and a half. So we're going to be out of here about 10 o'clock. Okay, well, I'm going to be out here at 10 o'clock. And I'm going to let you just sit here and look at him go for the however long you want to do it. But we usually start off the show with a little segment called "What's Up With You?" And as I said, my man Potsy here is having voice problems. He can talk a little bit. We're going to try to give him a break this evening. But what's up with me is last weekend I got to go to I DJ'd. I remember I told you last week I was DJing that birthday party / adult prom. The funny thing about that is when they originally reached out to me, they did it in a text. So when I read the text, I saw birthday party / adult porn. I'm like, what the fuck am I getting into? And I showed my wife, I'm like, what is this shit? She says, dumbass, that's his prom. I'm like, oh. So, but we had a good day. The thing was, they wanted like old school 90s kind of thing, hip hop and all. Birthday girl was hysterical. The one song I absolutely had to play, she wanted me to play, was Genuine, My Pony. So we had all these people there, and they were dressed like they were in prom. We had people in gowns and dresses, and guys with their suit and ties, and I'm rocking the jeans and a nice sweater, But I'm DJing, and so she is.
Hold that thought just a second.
Oh shit!
I want to go ahead and apologize. I'm going to be coughing all night long. I can't stop it, folks. It's a involuntary reaction.
So we got to just keep drinking.
But, and that's why I've got a little something there.
Yeah. So it was funny. So by the time I was going to play, like the birthday girl won't say it. I'm like, all right, I got it. But the birthday girl we didn't know what the fuck she was because they had a bar and they had food. So she was out mingling. She's lit. She's 2 sheets to the wind. But when the first two, no, she's probably about 15 sheets to the wind.
15.
But we had a ball. I want to say thank you for inviting me and letting me do that. I had a blast. But she was feeling good. Don't know where she was. I played it. When the first few notes came, I don't know where the fuck she came from. She came flying. And this chick had on, a beautiful, this gown came flying out of nowhere and just started grinding on everybody.
Did anybody ask her if she actually worked her way back into shape to wear the same one that she had at prom?
She didn't have to, because a lot of these people I recognized a lot of them. They work for the gym I go to, Lifetime. So so they actually do still fit. They were in shape. Like the birthday girl, she had guns. They were all in good shape. So yes. Who's that?
What's up, my glip glaps from Chris Barrett?
What's up? So we played that, but we had a good time. And then I got done with that, went home, had to get up and do my class Saturday, then hop in the car and go to my gig in Hickory, which was another interesting thing. So I forgot to take last time I was in Hickory. So this guy comes in and he normally sells like tacos and other stuff. So one chick decides she's gonna call herself heckling me. And in the middle, and so weird, and she's like, play this. She's drunk. She has this taco, and we're singing With or Without You. And this bitch dropped her taco. And right when I was about to say, with or without you, I said, You dropped your taco. And we started singing it. Everybody lost their minds. And I said, that's what you get. You dropped your taco. And it was funny because now it was harmony. So we were being smartasses in harmony. It was so, but I always have a blast when I play that place. Came back Sunday, came back and didn't have my youth. I didn't say anything to you, Siri. So we came back and did my youth thing Saturday night, Sunday night, excuse me, and then this week's just still playing catch up with work. So still trying to do all that stuff, because it was off 2 weeks for the holidays. Yeah. Not as bad. Finally got through the weeds. Besides planning classes, getting back with clients and POs, and just finally got a chance where I'm back level to where I was before the holidays, man. So I cannot complain. Been a good week, tired, but I'm glad to be here. I was debating on whether I'm like, do I want to drive? Do I want to do remote? And if I'd have known you had this bullshit, I'd have done it remote.
But I mean, here's what's funny. So I told you last week I had a pinched nerve in my neck.
You texted me and you went to the doctor.
I went to the doctor. 2 pinched nerves, not just one.
Haley has one of these.
This setting is awesome because it actually feels like 2 fingers like trying to get in there. I don't want to hear anything back, Chris Barrett. But so I obviously, but which setting did you put it on? 1?
I don't know what it is.
That's on 2. Yeah, it goes up to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, like.
I know. Continue.
So anyway, so I go to the doctor. Well, actually, so my back and my arm hurt so bad. Then I went to the chiropractor on Sunday for the first time, and they're like, it takes like 30 minutes to set everything up. Yeah, don't do that. It takes like 30 minutes to set everything up. They get me all set up. It takes 5 minutes to crack my back. Done. Damn. They're like, all right, you're done. And I'm like, no more?
No.
They're like, no, you're done.
You pay more?
Well, they said we offer a monthly thing where you come in 4 times a month, blah, blah, blah.
Which one did you go to?
The Joint.
Yeah, that's when Nicole goes. Yep.
Dude.
I got a subscription. Or not, I got a thing there too.
So I'm going back tomorrow for the 3rd time this week. And then after that, I got 2 times next week, and then 1 time every week after that. Right. It's amazing. They basically lay you down, and it's like, and you're done. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what just happened? Like, here's what's weird. It's probably 65 degrees in that place. I get up after they pop everything. I'm sweating. I'm like, why am I sweating? And he's like, happens all the time. Your body's not used to all that like energy, like being let go. What? What? You literally just went, and I'm done. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. Okay. So I signed up for the monthly thing. But my arm and my shoulder didn't feel any better. So I sit there and I send a message to my doctor through the portal that they've got for that. And I'm like, got something going on, things 2 pinched nerves, would really like an anti-inflammatory, blah, 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 because I'm allergic to ibuprofen. And they're like, well, you got to come in. The doctor's not here, though. So I got to talk to a PA. So I'm like, okay. Well, I get up that morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave early from work, take a long lunch, whatever. Ended up being too long, which sucked, but whatever. I'll use PTO for it. They're like, okay, so, yeah, you definitely have 2 pinched nerves. 2. Not just 1, 2. And
wow.
They were like, did you fall down? No, I woke up and I was like, this hurts. And they were like, Yeah, that happens sometimes at your age. Motherfucker, right? Okay, fine.
Never joke about my age ever again.
Oh, I'll still joke about your age.
I'm not because 2 pinch nose for laying in the bed.
I'm sure it's actually because of how I sit and I draw. Because it's literally right here into these 2 bottom fingers on my drawing hand. But anyway, then I'm like, I feel this weird upper respiratory infection thing going on. So I'm like telling them about it. They're like, we'll give you a flu and COVID test too, just to make sure you don't have that. Okay, cool. Well, what if it's not that though? Like, how do I get rid of this? Oh, well, it's upper respiratory infection. You just
Ride it out.
Ride it out.
It's bacterial. It's not, It's not
viral. It's not bacterial. Is the one you can get rid of.
It's viral. Sorry.
So I'm like, okay.
You can't take anything for it.
Well, I'm now taking steroids for this. I'm also taking like 4 times the amount of Aleve that you're allowed to take.
I'm talking about for the respiratory.
Right. But the steroids should still do something.
We'll see.
It's not getting worse. But I'm like, just because COVID isn't what it is, doesn't mean I don't have something. Do something for this, doctor. Luckily, it was just, hey, $20 copay, whatever, get in and out, whatever. But they were pretty much like, it's not COVID, it's not flu, get out. Okay, I'll leave. Fix this. That's what really hurts. This caused me not to sleep. Let's take care of it. Anyway, do that. Everything's good. Got a new signing coming up.
Sorry, Facebook post.
I'll talk about it a little bit more next week, but Ultimate Comics in Cary, North Carolina.
Is that the same one we talked about last week? No.
So in Cary, North Carolina, I'll be with Troy Dungara, the artist of Mandalorian. He's launching his new book, Lucky. We'll both be sitting there, both be signing the book. Now officially announced even by them, so I can talk about it.
You got your way.
But no. Listen to Tino. He's trying to start some shit. No, but I'm excited about it because it'll only be my second signing at that shop, so I'm excited. But we'll have Lucky there. We'll have Mandalorian. We'll have Junior High Horrors. So we'll have a couple different books that people who may not have been able to get at that location will be able to get.
When?
Saturday. The poster says 12 to 3. Next Saturday, 21st. The book's not out until next week. So
the poster says 12 to 3.
It says 12 to 3. The post on Instagram said 1 to 4. So I'll probably be there 12 to 4. Just because that's who I am. I do that kind of thing. But pretty excited about it. It's going to be a fun time. Might do some sketches if you ask. But all the comics and everything will be sold directly through Ultimate. So everything's cool there. So yeah, it's pretty much what's going on with me. At my day job, I get to start training a new class next week. So hopefully I have my voice back by then.
That would suck if you didn't.
Well, if I don't, they're gonna have to do something because me trying.
Is it virtual?
I mean, everything's virtual.
So you can.
No. It's in front of a camera. Yeah.
Hold up signs.
Yeah, like Sammy Guevara used to during the commercial breaks. So that's really all it's like what's going on with me. I finally finished Midnight Suns.
Oh, at the end, okay.
It's raining. Yeah, you can hear the
I heard something.
Yeah, the fireplace. Oh, so I do have something funny I want to talk about before we get into it.
Did you find your bowl?
What?
Your bowl. Looking for the cat, sir.
No. So Tino's talking about how like last week I had a stray cat outside. So I put like a little glass, like it's actually like a custard serving cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you do like desserts. But I filled it with tuna and I put it outside for the cat. Tino comes over last week. And I go outside to go get the bowl because I'm like, cat probably came back and ate it by now. Bowl's gone.
Guess I like this bowl.
I don't know how a cat would pick that bowl up. Ain't got thumbs. So I'm thinking the squirrels might have taken it.
Possibly.
But yeah, so that's gone. I still have 3 of them, so it's okay. But no. Yesterday, take the day off because I gotta go to the dentist, right? Get my teeth cleaned, everything else. Got the issue with my neck and my shoulder and my arm and everything. So they're like, are you okay laying like this? And I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, we'll put you up like, is that better? And I'm like, I'll deal, right? Whatever. Well, I get done with that and I'm like, all right, I'm exhausted. I'm just taking the rest of the day off. You know, like I could have went back into work if I wanted to, but I requested the whole day. So I was like, I'll stay off. So I finished Midnight Suns. But while I'm playing it, you go up against demons at the end, right? Like, so it's like Mephisto and, you know, the people from Limbo and Hell and all this other stuff. And I'm like sitting in my house and I'm like, it's fucking hot in here. It's fucking hot. Why is it so fucking hot? By the way, my thermostat, folks, is set 64 to 67. And it does the heat and cool at the same time thing. So I don't have to change it. 64 to 67. And I'm like, why is it so hot in here? So I grab the thermometer. I'm checking to see if I have a fever. So I'm like, well, I was at the doctor yesterday. Like, they might not know what's going on. I'll see if I have a fever. No fever.
Okay.
97.4. Like, okay. Why is it so? I'm like getting ready to take my shirt off at this point. Walk up to my thermostat. It's 76 in here. And the heat is kicking. Don't know. I literally have it set to cool.
Maybe like you kicked on because it was cold outside.
So it was 51 outside yesterday. And it's kicking the heat. And it's 76 in my house. So I turn that shit off, right? Cuts off, walk back over, start playing the video game. I'm like, all right, I'll cut it back on because it'll cut the air conditioning back on. Cut it back on. Starts kicking heat again. And I'm like, playing a game against the devil. This shit's like, so I haven't had it on in 2 days now. It's 71 in here right now.
It's not that bad in here right now.
No, it's a little warm actually, but just because like I like it like 65 to 68 degrees. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, why the fuck is it so hot in here? And I still don't know. I literally haven't had it on in 2 days. But I finished the game.
Cool. So maybe I don't think this shit will work again.
I don't know. But game's a lot of fun. If you haven't played it, some of the story's super cheesy. But otherwise, by the same guys that do Civilization, game's great.
All right.
So, Tino, from that.
Where do you want to go?
Well, we probably need to start with SmackDown. Well, specifically for the beginning of SmackDown. The Bloodlines in the ring.
Yeah, I saw running together something that did that in Raw too.
KO comes out. Well, go ahead and we'll talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
KO comes out. KO says he wants Roman at the Royal Rumble.
Because Roman, the first Roman, we got to go back because Roman
Go ahead, say it.
was pretty much jumping down Sammy's like, I didn't lose. Sammy lost. I didn't lose. And he started just yelling at Sammy, going off on Sammy. And he was like in Sammy's face this close. And then Owen's music hits.
Well, it wasn't even just that. It was, he's like, do you want to be the leader of the Bloodline?
Yes.
Do you want to be the head of the table?
I love Paul's expressions in the background.
Yeah. But then Kevin Owens' music hits.
Mm-hmm. So he comes out and pretty much says, "You're not mad at Sammy. You're mad at me. You're taking it out on Sammy." He says, "So how about this? How about you and me? You know, we end this. We go for, you put that title on the line at the World Rumble." And he just pretty much goaded Roman into it. Something Roman wanted to do it.
Well, Roman's just like, fine, whatever. I don't care. And he's like, well, then I'll see you at the Royal Rumble.
And he walks away.
And he walks away.
Priceless.
But I mean, he was like, you, me, Royal Rumble. And Roman's just like, fine, whatever. I don't care about you. I've gotten past you already. Like,
he's gonna get past him again.
He is.
Excuse me.
He is. But is it under the new regime? But later on in the night, Roman comes back and says, "Wise man, bring me Sammy."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Call Schmooby. Call Schmooby."
I don't know why he calls him Schmooby.
Because, I mean, he's the Schmoob.
He's like, "Schmooby, I love you."
He's like, you know I love you, Schmooby. Well, that's because they're the two outcasts of the group. So, of course,
they got to stay together.
Paul Heyman's actually like, I do like him. Why wouldn't I like that guy? Neither of us like the Saudis. We'll get to that. But then Roman takes Sammy into the room. They're talking to each other. And Roman's like, someone needs to apologize. Because no one should ever feel like that. No one should ever feel like how I made you feel. And Sammy's like, and even Paul Heyman's in the background like, and they're like who that foosball is the devil's game. I don't know what he's talking about.
Water boy.
Oh, whatever.
You were talking about.
So, but Paul Heyman's sitting there. He's like, "Are we seeing a different Roman? Like what?" And of course Roman's like, "So, Sammy, we're gonna have you to make it up to you. We're gonna have you face KO next week." And he's like, yeah, I'll do it for my head of the table. Now, if you remember, what Roman was saying was that Sammy was guaranteeing victories.
Yep.
And he was guaranteeing stuff. And he was guaranteed. And he's like, and I will bring this win home for the bloodline. And I will bring this win home for my head of the table, my tribal chief. And I'm like, Sammy gonna lose.
Big time.
Like, you know what would make it even better?
If Kevin got to pick the stipulation, if he
even better. Sammy comes down, KO's like this. Sammy comes charging at him, kick to the stomach, stunner. 1, 2, 3, match is over, and Roman's just like, and then Sammy's like, no, I wasn't ready. Kind of like Santino did the one time he got thrown out of the Rumble.
That'd be hilarious.
Dude, it won't happen. No. They can't do that to Sammy, but they should.
Well, the regime.
Well, the new regime's hoping that Sammy just stays on board. Because Vince likes Sammy. Vince likes Sammy. Vince likes Kevin Owens. He gave them both prominent spots at WrestleMania, man.
Yeah, well.
I mean, you don't get Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania in a Jackass match.
No. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to it.
We will. Anything else from SmackDown?
Not really.
We got more.
Evans again.
Well, we got more Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy and LA Knight.
Yeah. I'm starting to
get tired of it.
Yeah, especially after Monday too. After Raw, I'm like,
Monday I was actually more okay with than I was the LA Knight stuff. Because, like, you know who's looking like the star in that LA Knight? Yeah. You know, so yeah, I'm right now I'm more in line with LA Knight on all that. Okay. Rampage apparently was really good, but I didn't watch it. And then they also did Battle of the Belts, but I didn't get to see that because it didn't record on my. Did you watch it? I'm gonna move this over to Rampage for.
I don't remember. Thanks, I watched so much wrestling. Yeah, that's pretty good. It was they're doing more Sky Blue.
Oh wait.
Jade.
They did Top Flight versus Moxley and Danielson.
Dude, that match. Top Flight's going to be something, dude, because
that's Dante Martin, right?
Yeah, and his brother.
Yeah.
That tag team, if they continue to push them and work with them and don't just kind of throw them aside, they showed me a lot because they showed their toughness and their grit. I mean, they hung in there with Moxley and Cesaro. I can't even say his fucking name.
No, I thought it was Danielson.
Oh, Danielson. I'm sorry. Yeah, Danielson.
Yeah. Which is funny because Danielson really hadn't been being a part of the BCC recently. So, the fact that they did that, you know, afterwards, Moxley actually came out and, again, I'm gonna try to talk tonight, folks. Moxley came out and in an interview was basically like, when you ask me who my favorite wrestler is of all time, it's Bryan Danielson. So the fact that I've now faced him, I've now tagged with him, and I now get to watch what he's doing, there's nobody that does it like he does. And he's right. You know, because he went up against Take a Shit this week. And I'm going to talk about that statement because I think it's a BS statement. Call him Take a Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Take a shit up.
Take a shit up.
But you were talking about the other match on Okay, now it's really raining. Folks, if we lose power and we lose connection, I apologize. Hopefully it won't happen. And if it does, what I'll do is immediately put up my Wi-Fi hotspot.
That shit's coming down. But Jade Cargill and Sky Blue, aka Core Jade.
Core Jade 2.
Yeah, 2. She looks just like her. But that match was better than I thought it was going to be. She actually held her own. She actually had. That's the first time I've seen Cargill in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, like she almost got pinned like 3 times. She went for it. They did a one where she went for the Jaded, and Sky Blue reversed it and fucking kicked the shit out of her. And then Red Velvet came down for the distraction. I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen here? I thought either it was going to be a swerve, and she was going to help Jade win, or she was going to distract and let Core, because it was for the belt. But no, she stood at the top of the ramp and just antagonized Jade. So I think that eventually it's going to be a match with Red Velvet and Jade.
Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal were robbed of the belts at Battle of the Belts.
I'm not even going to ask who that is. I know who that was.
Do you know who that was?
No, they weren't.
I'm tired of Jade's winning streak being so low. We all know that Jade's winning streak should be over 100 by now. Well, if it was WCW, it would be, because they'd be like, and last week she won 4 more matches, even though they don't do house shows.
Yeah, so that was good. So,
all right, Jade Cargill. Who is going to end that streak?
Right now, if I had to guess, they're probably pushing Red Velvet, which makes no sense to me. Red Velvet, or I was hoping they'd bring in. Well, no, she'd go to main event if they brought in Sasha. She wouldn't make time of that little
Mercedes.
Yeah, so you might be looking at a Tony Storm. I don't know if they push her backwards. They don't really have
because it's a downward push.
Yeah, so I don't know. So maybe Ruby Soho. I don't think they're gonna push Paige Saraya.
Saraya.
I don't think they'll push her back.
No. She's a special attraction.
Hikaru Shida. Maybe.
Sheeta would be a good one.
Yeah.
We already had Nyla Rose go after it.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know. It's not going to be Britt.
No.
Or
not unless Britt sits there and says, "Well, that title's even more prestigious."
Or they pull Triple H, Shawn Michaels. One has the world, one has the European kind of thing.
I mean, they could. I just don't see it. I don't see the bigger name having the smaller title.
Let's try to elevate it. Like they did with the US strap. You know what I mean?
48 wins in a row. It's already elevated. Like,
I don't know.
And by the way, it's not elevated. Nobody cares about that title. I mean, they literally call it the TBS Championship, and it's on TNT every week.
So,
I don't know, man. Like I almost think that Ruby Soho is a good choice. Athena would have been a good choice. And I think that's who everybody thought was going to do it.
She would be Mercedes.
But I think at this point, like, Tony Khan's even like, I don't know who can beat her.
Build somebody up. And then by the time they, maybe they push her closer to that 100 and then build somebody. But they need to be building somebody up to take it from like, you know what I mean?
They do, but it's a streak. So like at this point, you're like, it's got to be someone that's also on a streak. There's nobody. I mean, even Paige technically lost last night, which was a great way to get Paige to lose a match really quickly. It's her second match, and you lost.
Yeah.
Of course, tag team matches and singles matches don't count the same. Blah blah blah, whatever. But it's interesting, and I'm still sitting here like they kind of backed themselves into a corner.
Like, I don't know who's going to take that title off the Acclaim. They've been so busy with Lethal and Jarrett. I mean, they could maybe bring the guy. I'm wondering if they're going to bring the fucking Ass Boys up and have Daddy Ass turn on them at some point.
Well, the Ass Boys turned on Daddy Ass.
That's what I'm saying, though. If the Ass Boys come up.
Oh, and then he actually turns back?
And for his sons.
I doubt it. I think what you're going to see there.
Probably. No, can't be the fucking.
Well,
it won't be the young fucks because they're.
Better not be. Do you imagine them with 2 tag team titles at the same time? Oh, we're the best.
TR's disappeared.
Well, they apparently have vacation time, so they've said we want a couple months off, and they've been granted it. But I think that they would be a good choice. Yeah. You can't go wrong with them. I'm wondering though.
Jungle Hook.
No, God, no. And
they did good.
And you know what? The whole, hey, we're putting 2 guys together. They have to have a tag team name. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
You know, I'd be interested to see maybe House of Black.
Or Death Triangle.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll get to that because we're going to get to Dynamite. But,
boycott that.
Just that match. Like, I'll put on something else during whatever match that is. But yeah, let's move on because I don't have a voice.
Raw. Looks like the Hurt Business is coming. They had Shelton and Cedric tag team.
Well, last week last week when Damage Control was walking backstage after Adam Pearce forced the bloodline out, MVP, Shelton, and Cedric were all talking to Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Now, I know that they're talking about bringing back the Hurt Business. And I know that this is the Hurt Block. But where's Omos?
He wasn't part of the Hurt Business.
But why couldn't he be now?
They fucking put his green ass to bed.
I think that now would be the time to sit there and make him this guy again.
So him and Solo.
Well, think about it. Let's say you get Bobby Lashley to finally say, you know what, P? Yeah, let's do this. All right, Bobby, but I got to tell you, I got one other guy I want to be part of this. And Omos walks in. And he goes, oh, no. And he goes, let him watch your back tonight. And then you tell me whether or not he can be part of the group, right? Then they do that. Well, then you got 5-on-5. Bloodline versus the Hurt Business. And that actually makes it a real deal.
Okay.
And let's be honest, the best part of Raw After Dark was, no, you ain't allowed in. Oh, you a big boy, aren't you? Remember?
Yes.
That was the best part of it. Well, that and Riddick Moss actually like tossing somebody out of the off and being like, ooh. But yes, does look like the Hurt Business is coming back. MVP actually went up, talked to Bobby, and Bobby said, I'll never forget what you did for me, but no.
Yeah.
And
he left it with, if you change your mind, I'm here.
But then when Bobby walked off,
he saw that grin on his face.
MVP was like, because he knows. He knows. So that was a fun start.
So what do you think of Alexa's promo? Getting up on the ring. She doesn't, when she was in that character with Bray, she was better. That sounded forced, that promo she did Monday night. It didn't sound natural for some reason.
It sounded like a different take. And it sounded like she was being euphoric about how it made her feel. Her saying the bitch is back is funny because I don't think she ever considered herself the bitch. But it makes her formidable. The problem is that she doesn't need the title in this Bray Wyatt story. And it defaces Bianca. Because Bianca needs somebody where it's me for the title. Or somebody coming after me for the title. Alexa is saying it's about the women's championship. But then it's also about this possession angle. And it almost feels like you have to have Bray Wyatt and Alexa versus Bianca and Montez. And I don't want that.
No. Which is probably where they're going to go.
I don't know.
Well, again, they're pushing the new series that Bianca and Montez. So I'm sure they're going to be a few more mixed tag teams. They're going to be interacting more. I'm sure she'll probably come down to the ring with the Profits. You know,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them going, hey, these are their real life family members. It's okay to be part of that. They've proven that with the bloodline.
Yes, but if they do an angle, with where she wants that belt, and the angle with Bianca, you're probably right on. Bray and Montez are going to be in that as well.
I just think that when it comes to Bianca at this point, they're not really doing much with her. She had her feud with Bayley. It was fine.
I think her next one's going to be with Becky, honestly.
I don't. They're both baby faces. What?
So Lisa Marie Presley had a cardiac arrest earlier. Just said she's dead.
Wow.
At 54. Sorry.
No, it's wow. Former Mrs. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I wonder if she died. No, it's too soon.
What?
Nothing.
Anyways, we got more of the Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline.
Yeah, because they came out wrecking shop, and he went in there to try to fuck him up, and then.
Well, he got away with it.
Yeah, he did.
And he was standing all by himself, going.
And then the Street Profits came out. Who came out to help him? Because it ended up being a tag match, didn't it?
Well, interestingly enough, the one person that didn't come out that I thought was going to would be Elias.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler ended up getting a match with Solo Sikoa.
Was Monday the Gauntlet?
That was the tag team gauntlet.
Yeah.
They sent the Usos out. Solo had to face Dolph. Solo beats Dolph, and then the Usos show back up. Like, yeah, we never left. Fuck Adam Pearce. Fuck Scrap Daddy.
Fuck Scrap Daddy.
Fuck Scrap Daddy. Nobody cares.
Fuck Scrap Daddy.
Yeah, fuck him. We run this place.
Bailey and Michin.
Boring.
Yeah.
Fucking boring.
And I never thought I would say that about him. I thought on paper that should have been an excellent match.
Yeah. And Bailey even sent Damage Control to the back. Oh. But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about the new Cholo Latino Heat.
This bitch came out
looking like the Wish version of fucking Conan.
Asked me that. I was like, son of a bitch. He does.
He's wearing the shirt with the button at the top. And
the Cholos are. That's what they do. The Cholo is just button at the top.
But he kept opening it so you could see the Judgment Day logo.
Yeah. And he had the bandana mask on, and he still had the teardrop.
Oh, the teardrop though, like that, and the tattoos on the hand. But I'm gonna tell you, okay.
When Finn got hurt, even Priest was like, Adam Scrap Daddy came out like, well, if he can't continue, you got to do dominant. And Priest was like, no. Even Priest was like, no. He said, you're gonna forfeit. No, and Dom's like, no. And then finally he's like, oh, okay.
So,
but that made me laugh because Priest was like, fuck that. No.
So when did Judgment Day become a joke?
I don't know.
Because they're a joke. Now they're over.
When Dom went to jail for 24 hours and came out like
he wasn't even in there 20. Like, okay. So I don't know if you saw my post on the Facebook group, but I asked the question: did the Miz out-heel the heel, or is he a babyface in this moment? Because he literally looked at Dom and said, so reports show that you were only in like county lockup for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that was the Miz being an ass.
But I wonder if it was on or off script. And the reason why I ask is because he's sitting there trying to build them up. And then all of a sudden he just, one line, tore that shit down. And then, of course, Dom comes back with like the ultimate line. I now know how Martha Stewart feels. But dude, the teardrop. I was sitting there, I was hoping this was going to walk up to him and go, hey, hold on a second. And wipe that shit off.
Yes. I wonder where they're going to go with this. I was also reading too. So the I blanked out. Judgment Day. I blanked out on the name.
Yeah,
Judgment Day is now in contention for
the tag team titles.
And I was reading somewhere on YouTube or something where they have the Rhea problem because they don't have. So the Judgment Day has Rhea. Bloodline doesn't have any female members.
Solo.
So I was reading somewhere, and I don't think it happened because she's still green as shit. Someone's like, "Yeah, bring Ava Rain up." Ava, fucking Rhea would kill Ava Rain. Now, Naomi maybe, but what do you think of Ava Rain coming up?
Actually, a Naomi showing up at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and Naomi against Rhea kind of coming to balance Rhea.
Not really, but
in the tag team to keep her at bay.
But at least it would slow it down.
But somebody was like Ava Rain.
Nah, way too early. Yeah. And she's just starting in Schism.
She could buy her.
She's just starting in Schism.
Rhea just throw a sugar cube, she'd run away.
But I hadn't really thought of the idea that like Rhea could step up in front of one of the Usos and then be like, but then feel the glow all of a sudden, like I'm a man. Yeah, I don't think that they would play that music for her at this point. Like, I think she's gonna have to, like, if she's gonna join the Bloodline, she's gonna have some like hardcore shit.
She won't be the glow anymore.
No,
she won't have the glow.
Maybe red. Just see her having neon red instead. I could.
That'd be interesting.
I could. But that would make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think just as Rhea steps up into that, all of a sudden like Jay's like, or Jimmy's like, and he's like, I can't do it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden like that music hits for the Bloodline again. And then all of a sudden like Naomi walks out. And they'd be like, who is that? It's, holy crap, we haven't seen her since May of last year. That's Naomi.
Yeah.
The newest member of the Blood. But they'd be like, which side is she on?
Which side is she on?
But she'd have red hair. So you'd be like, dude, fucking Bobby the Brain Heenan and his Excedrin headache number 9.
I'm looking at the New Year's Evil because there was something I wanted to.
Do we finish Raw?
Yeah, I mean,
I will say this: the thing that was interesting about Raw was that it seemed really fast.
Yes.
3 hours
went by
like nothing
because it was interesting
the whole time, and that was right before we got the news.
I don't want to talk about that news. We'll get to that news. I don't know what that news is because I'm still confused.
NXT. New Year's Evil.
Tony D'Angelo against Dijak was a good match.
It was. Who won?
Dijak won.
Of course he did.
And the Creed brothers. So the Creed brothers were supposed to go against End this year, which is Sangha and Veer.
Yeah.
So did you watch it? So the Creed brothers in the ring, and this year's music hit. Sangha comes out and says, "Veer isn't here," blah blah blah. And the Creed brothers are like, "You guys are so worried about us being ready. Well, we're ready to fight now." Da, da, da. Then the crowd started cheering. I thought it was Veer coming up from behind him. No. Where the fuck did Jinder Mahal come from? A,
Randy Orton.
B, the fuck's he back in NXT?
Why not? Are they using him on the main roster?
No.
So why not?
All right, so he's
as long as he's still getting his paycheck.
So he's back.
Now, did you hear that actually caused some tension backstage? Not backstage, but on Twitter.
You know why?
Well, because of the news
from Randy Orton.
And
I thought about that. That's probably why they brought. But fucking Veer is. I thought about that.
And Veer's definitely a Vince guy.
Yeah.
No, the whole thing was that Jinder, like people are like, oh, Jinder only got sent back. He's a former WWE champion. Blah blah. Nobody cared that he was WWE champion the whole time he was.
No.
So he's not doing anything. Sean probably called him up and said, "Hey, Jinder, you want to come down and wrestle a couple matches?" He was like, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, so I don't have a problem with it.
So we had Pretty Deadly. Supposedly running. So they're supposed to be running this 3-team gauntlet, so they can prove to New Day that they're.
They went up against the Rockers.
Yeah, that's what made the Rockers music.
I mean, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels.
No, it was Flying Brian Williams and Slammin' Jammin' Jimmy Jackson.
So it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't Shawn Michaels and Marty
no,
Jannetty.
he didn't kick him through a glass window.
But you have to admit, Pretty Deadly probably would have gotten through Marty Jannetty and old Shawn Michaels in the same rate that they got.
Yeah. Then we had Finn and Blade, which was a good match against them.
Who?
The Pretty Deadly. So the next team, because when they won that first match,
the New Day came out and said, no, you gotta actually face real teams.
So it was the next was Idris and Nofe and Malik Blade. I remember Sweater Dude and his tag team partner. That was pretty good, but they lost. And then they were like, they were all excited, because Pretty Deadly, we won. And then Gallus music hit. I'd forgotten all about fucking Gallus. And they came out and fucked Pretty Deadly up.
Yeah, they did.
So now they're the number one contenders, which I'm pretty sure they'll probably win.
Well, I'm thinking that the New Day might actually be a little upset about making that choice there.
Yeah. Then what do we have? I'm trying to have the highlights. I mean,
the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
The women's Battle Royal.
What you think of that?
Well played.
I like that fucking your girl was the first one out. Cord James went out and she kept trying to run back. And it, like one time she ran back, she hit the ring and the chick just whoop and she went flying over.
So it's one of those moments where you're like, what are they going to do with Toxic Attraction?
Well,
they want them to be attractions. They want them to be over. They know that what they did with Mandy
sucked ass.
Well, it also sucked the wind out of Toxic Attraction. Yes. So how do you move forward from there? And they figured out a way to do the DIY turn without having them turn on each other yet. So I almost want them in NXT now to revisit the co-women's champions of Michelle McCool and Layla L.
I was kind of thinking they wouldn't bring it because I was watching it at first. I'm like, people started cheering for JC. I'm like, JC's gonna win this shit. And then when they were on, I'm like, no, this is gonna be a fucking triple threat. It's gonna be a fucking triple threat. And then they fell. I'm like, yes, a fucking triple threat.
But you know what's gonna happen?
They're gonna turn each other.
Roxanne Perez is still gonna win that match.
She'll win that match.
Which will then probably elevate Toxic Attraction up to the main roster.
Okay.
They'll disappear for a little while and then.
Well, we forgot about Breaker and Grayson Waller.
Yeah, because that match actually happened in the middle of the card.
That happened, yeah. Which
now
I'm wondering if the turnbuckle, the rope thing was supposed to happen.
Totally, and I'll tell you why. They would have never done it in the middle of the night if it wasn't supposed to happen. It would have happened, if it happened in the main event, and that caused the end of that match the way that it did. That place would have booed the shit out of everything that happened after it. The fact that it happened in the
main event, so they couldn't boo shit after it.
It wasn't the main event.
I'm saying if it, you said if it happened at the end of the night.
They would have booed that building to no end, and it would have not gotten over. Fact that it broke the one time.
The first time Grayson went to do his little walk across the middle road. Yeah, and then it broke.
And then it happened again when Grayson tried to do the same move again.
No, the same time I did it when Braun.
No, because Grayson fell out of the ring.
That's right. He tried to do that flip thing he does.
He fell out of the ring, and then when he went to climb back in, he grabbed it, and pulled it, and just fell out. And it's like
they still booed when that match was over.
That match was garbage.
So,
but you know what it was? They were like,
We want to do it at the pay-per-view.
This is Braun's come up moment. Like he drops the belt here. Like if he holds on to the belt after this, who's next?
Well, he's not going to see it, and that's my problem. So the next time,
but you know he's going to be there for that.
The rematch is in Charlotte in February. Royal Rumble's in January. So does he come up to the main roster still with that belt, or does he come up after the pay-per-view in Charlotte?
He puts over Waller in Charlotte.
And then he comes up, yeah.
Night after WrestleMania, he shows up.
Okay.
Or SmackDown after WrestleMania,
okay.
He shows up. Like, they'll probably be like, hey, you're going to do signings, you're going to do this, you're going to do...
You know he's going to Raw. Vince wants all those...
Your number one show now is SmackDown. You look at the talent rosters between the two.
But to put him on, if Roman keeps that belt after WrestleMania, which is a big if, depending on who he faces, they put Braun on SmackDown. So are we saying that Braun's going to go against Roman? Is Braun going to be the one to take that belt off him?
No, he'd go after Gunther first. You know, I mean, like you got your progression, right?
Gotcha.
And you know, SummerSlam, Intercontinental versus Universal, you know, heavyweight champion of the world, like title for title. I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
So
that was.
And you know that's a way to fucking book that.
Yeah.
You give.
You pull an Ultimate Warrior Hogan.
Yeah. But you do it at SummerSlam
and have Braun win both belts, because you know they're not going to put the fucking secondary belt on Roman. He's not going to.
So let's be real. I don't think Braun Breaker wins the world heavyweight title on Raw or SmackDown until he either has.
Because Cody's got to win
it. He doesn't have to. Depending on who's in charge, he may never. I know. We'll get to it. The idea though that, I mean, Braun's the real deal.
Yeah.
But is he charismatic enough? Like, I would almost want a Paul Ellering to be his manager.
Well, he is Rick's son, but he reminds me more of Scott.
Of course.
They put a title on Scott, and he...
WWE didn't.
Was Scott charismatic?
WWE didn't do that.
Okay, well, Scott was a world champion a couple times. Was he charismatic?
Oh, absolutely. But if you had to look at the flaws in Braun Breaker, number one, the name.
Oh, they'll probably change that shit.
I don't think so. I think they're thinking marketability now. But either way,
they would have to, because you got a Braun Strowman. You want another Braun Breaker. That's why Austin Theory had to drop the Theory.
They just call him Breaker,
and that's why Nikki Cross couldn't be Nikki Cross anymore.
Well, that's only under Vince McMahon.
So
I mean, you got Shotzi Blackheart, and you also have Tommaso Ciampa the Blackheart.
Yeah, but Shotzi's not going to Shotzi Blackheart anymore. She's just Shotzi. So that's what I'm saying, though.
I know. And it's a tough one. But when you look at Braun Breaker, the one area that he still lacks is on the mic.
Give him Paul Heyman.
I would say Paul Ellering.
If he would come back.
Yeah, or give him Leo Rush. Lashley. Actually, MVP with Braun Breaker. Kurt Angle with Braun Breaker. WWE.
Holla, holla, player.
Fuck no. Braun Breaker gonna take you in a 6-pack challenge match, player. And when you get past him, you've got to face the Undertaker.
Why not bring back his dad or his uncle as a mouthpiece for him?
Well, his dad would not be a good mouthpiece. He never was.
I mean, that'd be interesting to have Scotty do it. Who do they have a manager?
Well, you got to remember though that Scott and Triple H don't get along.
Yeah. They didn't have a manager, did they?
The Steiners?
Yeah, who was it?
Jimmy Hart was probably their manager at one point.
So was the motherfucker. DiBiase was their manager for a bit in WCW too.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
DiBiase would be a good one. Although I'd still like this. Oh man, could you imagine them bringing back like Legacy and having Braun Breaker with Curtis Axel and what should it be? Cody Rhodes. It'd be Ted DiBiase Jr.
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
Wishful thinking. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
All right, let's hit fucking AEW because we gotta watch this 9:30.
I know. We gotta wind this down.
Because we still got a lot to talk about with
We do.
regime.
We do. We also have quite a bit to talk about just when it comes to this. Moxley versus Hangman.
Dude. I didn't think Heyman was gonna win that.
I did.
And win it like he won it. He hit the dead eye and he hit the fucking
Moxley jumped right up after the Deadeye.
but that buckshot lariat he didn't.
No, but I mean, he shouldn't have gotten up from the Deadeye. It's a fucking reverse tombstone pile
I
driver.
think when he bounced up, he was still kind of like this. It's kind of like when The Rock used to take Stone Cold stunners and would bounce back up to his feet.
He hit him with a move.
Hmm?
He hit him with a move after he took that. He hit him with a clothesline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this right here is to write Moxley off for a while. Because Moxley couldn't get up after the match. They're doing it, that whole thing. He took a clean buckshot lariat right to the chest. Clean. No head injury. Fuck that garbage.
All right, whatever.
But Hangman needed the win.
Yeah.
Moxley was supposed to go on vacation a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Moxley gets his vacation. Which is funny because Renee's now on the TV show, so it's like,
what's the point?
yeah. So you had that. Notice after that match, Tony Schiavone came out and said,
Yes.
"It brings me no pleasure
Yes.
to announce this next person."
Because he can't be with his girlfriend anymore. Her boyfriend's back and you're going to be in trouble.
And it was
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, baby! And Adam Cole comes out and he goes, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?"
That whole first part of that promo was so babyface.
The whole thing was babyface.
He kind of turned it. He goes, "I got bad news. But it's not for me. It's for that locker room." I'm wondering.
That's all babyface. It's all babyface. And it's the perfect moment for him to come back when Jon Moxley goes on vacation.
Why that?
Well, think about it. You have one top name being written off TV.
That's true.
You have one top name immediately coming back.
Yeah.
And neither one of them have anything to do with CM Punk.
True.
It's perfect. His whole promo, like you just said, I mean, you just ruined it. He says, "I got good news and I got bad news." And the good news was all, I had no idea what was going on. Still don't know what's going on. Head injury, blah, blah, blah. Can't sleep, can't do this. Brit's waking me up in the middle of the night going, "What's going on? I don't know." But then there's bad news. But it's not bad news for Adam Cole. It's bad news for everybody in the locker room.
Yeah.
Because I'm back, baby. And I don't care if it's tomorrow. I don't care if it's 2 years from now. I will be at the top.
We'll see.
And I mean, like, I hope he's not immediately after Danielson. Because MJF's not ready to lose the belt yet. So, great promo.
Yes.
Really good to see Adam Cole, like, expressed from the heart. We got the women's tag team match. which everybody thought was going to be Mercedes Moné.
And that really be Tony Storm?
And, well, they announced Tony Storm last week.
So I thought it might be a swerve somehow.
I didn't. I think that Mercedes Moné still has every intention of going back to WWE at some point.
Okay.
I'm not saying a year from now. I don't know. But I mean, fuck's sake, she could show up in the Royal Rumble. Yeah. And why not? If they're going to get, hey, you want $1 million? Show up in the Rumble.
We'll get to that. Jungle Hook. I like saying Jungle Hook. See the expression on your face.
Hookhausen had a much better ring.
Okay.
Jungle Hook.
All right, next.
Both wrestlers are over as singles. So what do? We're going to put them in a tag team.
I think. While Hook is picking up steam, I think Jungle Boy is kind of, not once again in a row, but kind of got, you know what I mean? You need to work with somebody who's a little more experienced.
I agree. And when it comes to putting them on Dynamite, I agree. I just think that both of them are so over.
Yeah.
They don't need to be in a tag team. Mm-hmm. Jungle Boy just got out of a tag team.
They said it was one night only, so probably one night only.
But they came up with a name.
Well, they always do.
WWE doesn't.
Well, they're not WWE. That's what I'm saying.
WWE.
Whatever. Next. Oh, Danielson and Take a Shitter.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
So MJF came out after.
He came out after. He came before.
Well, how do you actually say his name? Takeshita?
Yeah, I think so.
So he comes out while he's in the ring. And he's like, here we speak American. By the way, that's so old. Like,
it was stupid.
To me, it was like the worst promo MJF's cut in a while. The Freddie Prinze Jr. thing of Scooby Dooby bullshit or whatever.
I was gonna call him Scooby Dooby bitch. That'd been better. When he said, yeah, King Young was out there. He's like, yeah, you're from the Hangover 20 years ago. I'm like, what are we doing? Well, he was trying to say that it's not relevant. Well, he was trying to say that AEW brought out the Hollywood A-list while saying, well, we couldn't even get the Hollywood A-list. And some people were talking about how Freddie Prinze looked pretty old. And I saw this Chris Van Vliet interview where he's like, yeah, why should I care about? And I was wondering, I thought he was going to mention how, because he used to be around for WWE. I thought they weren't going to do that. And I'm like, well, dude, MJF, he still got Sarah Michelle Gellar. Although she wasn't there. No. But she's at home, butt naked, waiting for him. I don't know about all that. I mean, she's the breadwinner. Hey. So he comes home and gets butt naked for her. Either way. But, he still gets to see her naked. Main event. Tino? I refuse. Tino, it's your moment. I refuse. Tino, it's your moment. I refuse to talk about this match that only cemented in my mind the circle jerk, butt fucking dick in the mouth bullshit that's going on in AEW right now. There is no way on God's green earth the fucking Elite should have won that match. They're fucking EVPs. Why do you book yourself to win a championship? That's fucking degrading and is fucking putting Sam like the type of team they lost to. That just made them look like shit.
Death Triangle.
Death Triangle look like shit. They're trying to say so they're the top, so they can't have the tag team belts, and Kenny can't have the world title. So we're going to do the second best. We're still going to keep belts on you to try to keep you on the fucking screen. Fucking give your roster
Now,
a chance.
Now, keep in mind, this is also the tag team that is currently holding out re-signing their new deals.
Tony Khan, fuck them. Let them go.
Where do they show up in WWE?
Oh, Triple H don't want those fucking.
He wants them.
He fucking buries them. That's one I believe in. He fucking buries them.
That I'd be okay with burying them.
I don't agree with it. It's such bullshit. You are EVPs. You don't need to be in the fucking spotlight all the time. You fucking no-sell. He no-sell. He no-soul a fucking whatever the move is that San Romero does, that pile driver. But we're supposed to believe that everybody fucking falls for your fucking one-wing angel. Fuck you. I'm so tired of the elite. I'm so tired of the elite. I'm so tired of this overrated assholes. They're not FTR and they're not fucking Bryan Danielson. In a match, I wish fucking FTR and Bryan Danielson would form a fucking trio and see how good you are. Fuck the elite.
So.
And fuck Tony Khan for letting them get away with it. Does Vince let anybody else tell him how to run his fucking company when he was doing it? No. But whatever the fucking elite wants to do, they can fucking do. Even they said, oh, the click. Even the click, Vince would say, no, we're not doing that. He would let, you know what I'm saying?
You got more?
The click. He would be, no, he took control of his fucking company. Why don't you just fucking sell the company to the elite? Because they run the fucking show anyway.
So,
I'm boycotting this motherfucking bullshit.
AEW fans who are only AEW fans fucking love the elite. And let me point out that on our Facebook group, I flat out said, Will Ospreay should not lose to Kenny Omega on a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And what happened? So it's not just Tony Khan that's eating their assholes. And unfortunately, there's probably, considering the way the ratings are, I would say 20% of all wrestling fans are AEW fans.
That's so small.
No.
20%. So you said 20 out of 100. 20% of wrestling fans. So 80% is WWE fans.
Well, or New Japan or
Okay.
TNA or but I mean, like, Raw and SmackDown probably make up at least 60% of all fans, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have 60% there, you have 20%, okay, 30% AEW, okay? That gives 10% for the rest.
Okay.
Specifically, those folks that love AEW love the elite. And they're blind to the fact that these guys are in charge. In the 90s, we'd have been like, fuck Kevin Sullivan. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck is Kevin Sullivan a champion? Why the fuck is Kevin Sullivan in matches against Chris Benoit when we know Chris Benoit's the better wrestler? Now, granted, obviously, one of them didn't kill their wife, but when you have your commentators constantly talking about how Death Triangle should be main eventing cards as singles wrestlers. And then they can't beat a tag team and a singles wrestler. You defeat your own statement. And Tino, I told you what was going to happen as soon as they announced it.
I was kind of like I told you though. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, they're not. They can't.
And they kept saying last night. Oh, by the way, that Canes beat the Blue Jackets 6-2 tonight. So good for Carolina. And they kept saying throughout. And remember, Death Triangle's still the champions until they lose. They were telling you they're going to lose. And on top of telling you they were going to lose, they also kept saying, these are the only two teams in AEW that have ever held this championship. Well, no shit. You introduced it. You sent the Elite on vacation for a month. You gave it to Death Triangle. You didn't even let Hangman and the Dark Order have a chance at it, even though they were in the finals. And then you announce a best-of-7 series that you knew was going to go 7. And you knew who was going to win. Like, do it.
When they were down 3-0.
3-1. They were down 2-0, 2-1, 3-1.
Okay. You called it. You said they're going to come back. I was trying, like I said, give them the benefit of the doubt.
The only spot I'll give Tony Khan credit there is that he didn't let them go down 3-0 and come back and win 4 in a row. Because in real sports, that's only happened like twice ever. So you don't do that. But Tino, you're right. And I wanted you to sit there and have a rant. I wanted you to have that moment, that rage fill you.
Well, I had that rage last night.
I know. I get a message an hour after the show's over.
I watched it later.
And it said, fuck this shit. And I'm like, fuck what shit? And he goes, didn't you watch? I'm like, of course I watched. I told you it was going to happen a month ago. And I was right. I don't like when it's that fucking predictable. I also don't like, as you said, when your top people in the company in terms of high-end positions politic themselves to shit like that.
Because back in the day, that's what Kevin Nash, Dusty Rhodes, everybody got fucking shit for. Was when they had the pencil. They had the pencil and they were writing themselves in.
Ric Flair.
Yeah. But now it's okay for the fucking elite to do it.
I think the reason why everybody says that it's okay for them to do it, one, the wolves pulled over their eyes, right? We admit that. But two, it's because they do put on hell of a match. But
I need them to sell other people's shit.
Well, I've been saying that since AEW started.
Yeah.
I literally sat there and said, every time a major move happens, it's against the other team.
Yep.
Every time someone can't kick out of a major move, it's because the other team can't kick out. They literally have booked themselves into these positions constantly. And it's disgusting to watch how they don't put over the other talent. And when they do take the pinfall, they mention Nick Jackson had an injury in every single one of these matches.
Sean was an excuse.
There's always an excuse. And all it does is demean the other team. The only reason why Death Triangle is sitting here accepting this has to be whatever they're being paid. Like, if I was Pac, if there was no Vince McMahon in the picture, I'd be calling Triple H.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry I left the way I did. Can I come back?
All right, yeah, maybe.
But that's a good transition point. Let's talk about this one first.
Well,
Switchblade, Jay White.
all right,
It's quick. Contract coming up. What's a better fit? Because he wants to leave Japan.
He'll be with his boys. He'll eat fucking some bits.
If WWE actually continues to hold the Triple H book, I think the WWE is a better fit. Especially right now that AJ Styles has a broken ankle. Because him
and the Good Brothers
I could totally see them pulling a Triple H the night after WrestleMania 14 and saying, sometimes you got to go home and call in the family and have Jay White walk in. Like, and I know that they don't look at the Good Brothers as that, right? But, or hell, have Judgment Day do it. And have Finn Balor sit there and say the same thing. He fit right in with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think that WWE would be a better fit. Unfortunately, I think that when it comes to what we're getting ready to talk about, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm not even believing this shit.
Earlier this week, Vince McMahon played all of his cards and dealt himself a royal flush. He has now put himself back in control of the controlling interest of WWE, unanimously getting voted back in after a month ago they unanimously said he could not come back.
Yep.
He got 3 people off the board of directors. He brought back 2 people that he fired from the board of directors and himself.
Stephanie quit.
2 other board members resigned, including the one that was in charge of the investigation into Vince McMahon.
Oh, because he was going to get him.
I'm surprised he wasn't one of the 3 that they got rid of. Yeah. But I started thinking about that. You already mentioned Stephanie McMahon, but I'll get to that one. The board of directors thing, I have to assume he sat there and went, what's the lay of the land? If I get back in, who's staying, who's going? Oh, these 2 just say they're going to resign. Okay, we'll get rid of these 3 then. And that's what he did. There was a 5-person swing on the board of directors in 2 days. 2 days later, after the resignation of those other 2, once Stephanie McMahon resigns her position as co-CEO.
I heard something about that too. So tell me about the rumors of the sale first, because then that has something to do with the Stephanie thing.
Well, so the rumor came out, an hour after
Raw?
No. Tuesday at 6 p.m. is when Stephanie actually resigned.
Yes.
Tuesday at like 8 p.m. when NXT was going on air. Rumor is that the Saudi Arabia International Fund or whatever had purchased the WWE.
And I think So think about it. They don't want women in control. I think that was part of the reason Stephanie had to go, because they weren't going to buy it with her still in power.
We're now almost 3 days later, and everybody in WWE says we have not sold.
It would make more sense to me because the top three that I heard was Saudi, Disney, and Comcast. Comcast out of them all would make more sense because that's USA, that's Peacock. They already have them. That would make more sense to sell to them.
Yeah.
If you sell to Saudi, that's when we were talking off air. Say goodbye to your fucking women shit. Sammy out. That's gonna stop his push. He's gonna quit. I doubt he'll keep working for him anyway.
Dude, I bet he just says, I'm done.
And if Sammy quits, KO's gone.
Yeah, I can't see KO staying if Sammy leaves. I don't care if they sit there and say, we'll put the strap on you.
It's gonna be detrimental. So he's just going and be spiteful, like, fuck, I'm gonna blow my own shit up. I'm a WCW myself.
So the two people that resigned from the board of directors were two people that flat out said, we're okay with the sale of WWE. We are not okay with bringing Vince McMahon back. Vince McMahon puts himself back on the board. He gets unanimously voted in. Probably the last decision that Stephanie makes before she says, fine, Dad, you want this? You got it. I'm done. Because there's a lot of people that sat there and said, based on her statements, she sat there and never said, my father. She said, our chairman. On top of that, Vince said Stephanie's personal decision, not her professional decision. So a lot of undermining and everything else. When it comes to Saudi, yeah, there's a possibility that taking her out as co-CEO is one thing. I don't know. I mean, she wouldn't be co-CEO of a company owned by them because they would be that anyway.
That's true.
You know, because the whole idea is being taken private. Which
will put Vince back in more power.
Well, and that's just it.
Control.
Is that Saudi owning it would probably immediately go, Vince McMahon's back in control. However, that means Vince McMahon has a boss.
And as of right now, Triple H is still head of,
head of creative, head of live events, and head of personnel. And Vince has actually said, I'm okay with Paul being in charge of those things. No, he's not. 77 years old, Vince McMahon wanted back in. He wants everything. I don't know if he can get everything. Because, you know, today a lawsuit was filed against him.
For what?
For basically manhandling the board of directors to get what he wanted.
Oh, shit.
And don't be surprised if this minority shareholder lawsuit becomes a class action lawsuit where they start asking everybody who's shareholders if they want Vince McMahon out. It's going to get dirty, man. It's already dirty. I mean, Stephanie McMahon saying, going back on my leave of absence and I'm resigning. It's dirty. It's very, very dirty. But
Triple H has done so much in this past few months. It's gotten better.
A lot has gotten better. Some hasn't. Hit Row's terrible.
But you bring Vince back, it goes back to terrible.
Well,
everything.
He just gets rid of Hit Row.
No, it goes back to everything. Especially if he's in charge of creative.
Man, could you imagine LA Knight coming back out and being like, you know what? I kind of like Max Dupree. No. So, and here's where I will take that. There is rumor that yes, backstage is a very tumultuous situation right now. But there is a lot of rumor that those that don't feel comfortable working under Vince will just stop working for him. And you know what? We started the conversation tonight with this. Independent contractors.
Yeah.
End your contract. Nobody's ever pushed back. Now might be the time.
Yeah.
You know? I really don't have anything else.
We're actually
an hour and a half.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So you can fuck yourself up. So I'm still gonna make you do your own handles.
Whoa.
What?
I just started doing Jay Lethal's entrance. Like he just showed up.
Out of nowhere.
It's all right, folks. We're gonna call it a night. I can't believe I actually made it through this.
Well, there's a lot of heavy lifting for you tonight, so
Yeah.
I finally got to talk, folks.
Good for you.
Finally.
We finally called your number.
Anyway, do your fucking handles.
Rob Pochak, Rob Potsy Pochak on Instagram. Junior High Horrors on Instagram. Rob Pochak on Facebook. Rob Potsy Pochak on TikTok. Rob Pochak right here on the YouTube. Twitter at Pochak. And at the Potsy and Tino show.
On the Twitter machine, I'm RudyFan91. On the Instagram, the Insta, I am SC Tino. I will punch you in the throat. And then pinch your shoulder real hard. And then you can, so each and every week, right here, we want to say thank you to Adam Souscat for the wrestling song. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get it on iTunes for 99 cents 99. Until next week, folks, hopefully it's due to feel better. But you guys take care of yourself. Thank you for hanging out. And as always, the Macho Man, we're out. And we're thinking. Oh, yeah. Dig it.